Alright, so hopefully it works now. Let me just check how the delay is, if there is any. God damn it. Okay, it works. Okay, so no webcam today because I don't know why it's busted, but yeah, there's a lot of stream scuff today, so you know that's great. But today we're gonna be talking about Proteus. Proteus is a well, it's probably going to be the only routine that I'm going to be teaching throughout my entire YouTube career. That's basically what it is. But Proteus is nothing new. Basically, all the slides that are in Proteus have already been revealed on YouTube, so I'm basically exposing nothing new. But I'm going to add... basically, I'm going to teach the original routine, and I'm going to be teaching... the new my version, my touches, and then I'm going to go over some theory as to why I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Ernest Eric's style of magic. So you know, that's that. But yeah, so let's go over some history first. So Proteus is a routine that was first published in By Forces Unseen by Ernest Eric back in 1993. And so, yeah, let's just go into a performance of Proteus. Alright, so let's just get into it over here. Alright, so let's go over Proteus. So you're just going to have a card selected. So in this case, it would be the Nine of Hearts. Actually, let me just get it out of the deck real quick so then you can see it better. So that's the Nine of Hearts. So let me just push it into the deck. And now, yeah, let's just square everything up. And now I'm going to ask a second spectator to stop on a card again. And so, what do you think are the chances of you landing on the exact same card, right? Not that high, right? Because here we have the 10 of Hearts instead of the... I forgot what their name was, but Nine of Hearts, yeah. So, but my job as a magician isn't necessarily to land on your card, isn't to find your card or use luck, right? My job as a magician is to actually change into your card. So that is Proteus. Alright, so let me just go back to the stream. Why is the bit rate so bad? Anyways, yeah, so that was a performance of Proteus. So yeah, so I don't know why I said so, yeah, so, but yeah, so I'm saying that again, but there might be some construction, so there might be some noise in the background because there's renovations going on, so you know, that's a thing. But yeah, that was Proteus, and I'm actually using the script, basically I'm paraphrasing the script from the book, so you know, that's a thing. So if it was jank, you can blame the book, but I think I'm just not comfortable performing in that style of magic. So Proteus is a transformation style routine, and yeah, let's go over basically the sleights of the book, of the routine, I mean. So the very first sleight that I actually used was something called the bow to stern control. Chris Ramsey taught a variation of the bow to stern control on his YouTube channel, but fun fact, it was actually a move by Bizo Christian, or however you want to pronounce it, called the blind square control. What I'm going to be teaching here is actually the original bow to stern control, so you can go ahead and look at that. So yeah. So essentially the card, the deck is dribbled and the card is outjogged as the selection. But as you go to push the card forward, you're actually just going to leave the top portion of the deck slightly injogged, so there's quite a lot of it. And so you want to tilt the deck just like so then you don't flash the bottom half, right? Because if you go too much off too flat, I mean, you'll see that this half actually flashes. So you want like a fair bit, just like so. And what you're going to do is that you're going to clip the outjog selection with your middle finger and index finger. and you're going to basically take it out, slide it out of between the two packets, and then you're just going to slide it back on top of the deck, right? So in motion, you're lifting it up, and you're also basically out jogging it, and then you're placing it back on top. So that's basically what the displacement is. So the justification as to why you're actually taking it out of the deck is, well, you want the spectator to see the selection a bit better, right? So this is what it looks like. So here, let me just take the card out of the deck a bit more so then you can see the card better. So that's the justification. Yeah, that's the justification that Ernest Eric uses. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you know, that's what it is, right? And after you're done displaying the card like so, you're actually just going to contact the card with your pinky, ring, and middle finger, and your thumb contacts the down jog packet at the back. So what you're going to do is that you're going to push everything forward. Well, push everything square. And through friction, you'll notice that this packet, sorry, I'll remove the selection. This packet actually kicks forward just a bit, right? Well, okay, sorry. I'll use a different deck because this deck is clumpy. It's not great. But through friction, you'll notice that this deck actually, you know, through friction, this card actually juts out forward. You'll notice that some cards actually go along with it, so you can use your index finger to kick everything back except for this single card. And if you find that this card isn't outjogged enough, you can use your index finger to kick it out just a bit. I wouldn't recommend it, but you know, that's an option that you can have. So once again, I'll go over the motions. So you dribble to have a selection. Here, as you push this card forward, you're going to leave this packet behind by like 10 centimeters or so. And you're going to clip this card by the middle and index finger. And under the guise of showing the card, you're going to basically steal the card out of the deck and then replace it back on top of it. And so now you're going to push everything together, and through friction and a bit of pressure, the card underneath where the packet was will outjog, right, automatically. So that is essentially the bow to stern control. It is very different from the one that Chris Ramsey taught, but it is, yeah, it's the bow to stern control. So let me just zoom out a bit. So let me just do a slow motion demo here. And that is the bow to stern control. So the very next light that we're going to learn is called the Rotary Reverse. So you have your selection on top, and you can rewatch the performance if you want, but you have to, well, I'll actually go over the Rotary Reverse first. So we have the card that we want to reverse on top of the deck. So here you're going to get an Erdnase break, and I'm not going to teach the Larry Jennings thing again, but to get an Erdnase break, you're just going to push over the top card, and as you retract it, this pinky finger is going to go underneath it, and now you have an Erdnase break from the front. So that's the Erdnase break, right? So once again, you push here, and your pinky finger goes to contact it as you slide it back on top. So that's the Erdnase break. But for the Rotary Reverse, you want to contact basically the lower edge of the deck over here with your left pinky. Right, you should have. Yeah, I'll go over it after. So you have your pinky. You have basically the top card, basically held by the two pinkies. So one is on the top left corner, top right corner over here, I mean. And you have one that is held on the lower short edge over here, right? And it's next to your thumb. What you're going to do is that your thumb is going to lift, your thumb and middle finger is going to lift this deck over here, the rest of the deck over here. And it's basically going to flip on top of this card over here, right? As, yeah, under the guise of showing the selection. So I'll go over it again. So you have basically another card outjogged, and here you have your Earth brick, and the card is held by both pinkies. So here you have the card over here, and you're just going to flip the rest of the deck over the top card, like so. And that is the Rotary Reverse. Basically, Ernest Eric says that it's very important for your hand to remain, for this card to remain stationary. So, basically, this card stays in place as the rest of the deck goes on top, just to show the upjaw card. So, and as for your other right hand fingers, they're basically just supporting the card from the upper short edge. So here you have your ring finger, your middle finger, and your index finger just contacting the deck, contacting the card over here as the rest of the deck flips over. So that is the Rotary Reverse. So to string together all these motions, I'm gonna switch decks again. So to string together all these motions to form basically what is Proteus, you're going to execute the back to stern control. So over here, I already taught it earlier. So over here, you control the card to the top. You square everything up. You have another card selected. It's the wrong card, but as you go to show the wrong card, you're going to execute the Rotary Reverse. So over here, and basically from here on out, you're going to take the outjaw card and you're going to place it on top of the deck, but you should be careful to not flash this card. So what you're going to do is, as you go to take the card out, your deck also meets the selection as it basically closes like a clamp, or a clam, I want to say. So you're going to do this, right? So basically you should play around with the angles just a bit, but it should be relatively simple enough, right? So if I'm doing this for the camera, I'm going to do this, right? And this hides the reverse card on top of the deck. Next, what you should do for Proteus is that you can see over here that there is a natural break that is formed because of how the cards are bent, right? So you can contact this slight break with your left thumb and lift it up almost like a tent, right? Almost like you're doing a tent vanish. But this gives you the perfect opportunity for your right hand to come in and grab the two cards by the blank pip. So now you can go ahead and do the patter of, I'm just a magician, I don't rely on luck and whatever. So now you can execute the snap change, which I taught last week, but I'm going to go over it here as well. So for the snap change, again, it's just a normal snap change, but you're doing it from an upright position. So you're just going to do a snap change, right? And now you're going to pin it against the index finger, and your thumb just squares it up against the rest of the deck. So now you have just a single card. So that is basically just the entirety of Proteus. It's kind of simple, but yeah, that's a routine by Ernest Eric. So I'll go over the entire thing just briefly. So bow to stern control, you push this card forward. You're also leaving the entire packet down jogged. Here you clip the card with your middle and index finger, and you bring the card out under the guise of showing it to the spectator. Here you push the card square with the rest of the deck, and you leave one card out jogged through friction and just a bit of pressure. You square everything up, you have another card selected by another spectator. So under the guise of revealing this card to basically the audience, you execute the Rotary Reverse. It's the wrong card. You add this card to the top of the deck, and you prop it up against the rest of the fingers. And now you execute the snap change. Clean up, and that is Proteus. This is a transformation style effect. Again, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you want to rewatch the slides, yeah, you can go rewatch the VOD, which I'm going to post right after this. But now I'm going to go over my version of Proteus and why, yeah, basically I streamlined it. But basically, it's largely the same thing, right? You have a card selected, you execute the bow to stern control or whatever control you want, right? So you have a card out jogged or whatever. And now you have another card selected, but here, this is where my version actually, wait, actually, you know what, I should probably perform it before I teach it, so. All right. Over here. All right, so, actually, yeah, sure, I'll switch decks. So, here I have a card selected, so you are audience member number 1. So here I'm actually just going to show the card a bit. So 5 of diamonds here, and I'm going to leave it inside of the deck. Here I'm going to ask spectator number 2 to select the card. So here, and obviously this isn't your card, is it? Well, obviously I don't want to rely on luck or anything, or my job isn't necessarily to find your card anyways, right? But what I want, but I'm a magician, right? So my job isn't to find your card. My job is to change this card into your card. And that is the 5 of diamonds. Oof. So I just kind of rushed through that performance, but you can see just how little slides there are. So basically, yeah, there's way less slides compared to the actual version. So this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be largely the same as the original. So I execute just a control to the top for the first selection. Actually, you know, I'll use a different card. So I execute a control to the top here. Right, so now I controlled it to the top of the deck, and now I'm gonna have a second card selected. But what's different about this compared to the original is that I don't need to execute the Rotary Reverse. So over here I can just show the card normally without care. I don't need to execute the Rotary Reverse. So what's different about this is from last week's snap change tutorial, I already taught this, but I can contact the top card and I can slide it forward until it meets basically the outdraw card. So here I'm actually pinching this card already, and I'm touching the back of this card as I slide it forward. So now it is basically square with the rest of the deck, right? With the outdraw card, and you know, you won't see it because of my hand and also because of the outdraw card. So now I'm basically pinching both cards at once, and here I can say my patter or whatever. And as I go to remove this card from the deck, I'm basically going to execute the snap change. So as I remove it, I'm also executing the snap change at the same time. So the snap change is basically hidden under the motion of getting the card out of the deck, right? So it's over here, right? That doesn't look good because of the angle, but that's, yeah, you can rewatch the performance if you want. But that's the biggest difference, right? So for the original Proteus, you can see how many slices there are. So there's obviously the control to the top or whatever, and then you have the Rotary Reverse or whatever, And then you have the add-on to the top, you have this prop up over here, and then finally you have the snap change and then the cleanup, right? So there's a lot of slides in the original Proteus version. Mine has like 3, right? Mine has the bow to stern control, which is whatever, right? I'm not going to do it again. Mine has the bow to stern control, and then, yeah, the snap change, and then the cleanup, right? So you can see just how much more direct it is versus, like, there's so many processes in the same same routine, but, like, yeah, basically I just want this to be a reminder for people that just because there's more moves or just because the moves are harder doesn't necessarily make a routine better, right? So I want you guys to take a look at some of your routines, whether it be something as simple as an ambitious card routine or something as difficult as an oil and water. I want you guys to take a look at them and just question them and, you know, just find if there's way too many moves in the deck or if there's any way to simplify it. And through that, I think that if you start to question whether your moves or your routines are necessarily like the best or if there's any way to streamline it, then, you know, I think you're going to go a long way. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of this style of Magic. So what you can see here is basically I want to say it's a North American style of Magic where it's a North American style of Magic where it's all about visual moments, right? It's all about like how hard like certain magical moments hit. But that's not necessarily the type of Magic that I want to perform, right? So what I like to perform is more Spanish style Magic of magical experiences, right? Those are 2 largely different things. Magical experiences are what the spectator remembers and feels for the Magic rather than us having like 20 or like 10 kicker endings. I mean, they're not that important, kicker endings, because I remember a story by Juan Tamariz, there we go. But Juan basically said that like after like years, a spectator came up to him and basically told him like the wrong story of what he performed, but that's his experience of how the Magic felt. So ultimately that's what the effect is. So it's not about the amount of kicker endings they can fit in, it's about what the audience is experiencing. So that's basically what I want to touch on. So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Proteus or Ernest Eric's style of Magic, right? It's just magical moments over and over again, and it's awfully convoluted, and so there's just ways of simplifying it that I think, you know, it's just not the ideal handling for effects. So that is Proteus, and I hope that you guys got something out of this. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that was actually shorter than I expected, but you know. But that was Proteus. Basically nothing new to learn here. It's all theory based, sort of. But I hope that you guys can get some mileage out of what I said. So streamline effects. Think about whether you want like 10 kicker endings or whether you want like the audience's experience to be the center stage. And also, yeah, so also Thursday I'm probably going to put out another I'm going to put out a performance video on Ernest Eric's Jack Synapses, and you're going to see why how convoluted his style or his effects are. So yeah, so I think that's basically it for Proteus. This is obviously going to stay up on YouTube, and so yeah, if there's any questions that you have, don't hesitate to just write them down in the comments down below. And that's basically it for Proteus. If you're having trouble with the snap change, I have a tutorial from last week, so you can go ahead and check that out. But besides that, hope you guys have a good Valentine's Day if you're celebrating it. I just realized that it was Valentine's Day, so you know. But yeah, have fun with this. Depending on, don't use the pattern that Ernest Eric does or that I use. I think it's very old school. But yeah, so that's about it, and hope to see you guys next week.